Sir, I have no idea of I don't know his parentage.
He was white.
Again, I don't know why you're making...
In a surprising turn of events, US President Donald Trump has named Dan Bongino, who's a far-right podcaster and commentator, as a deputy director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Bongino will work directly under Kash Patel, who has been appointed as the FBI director. The deputy director is a bureau's second highest official, which is a role traditionally held by a career agent overseeing daily law enforcement operations. So who exactly is Dan Bongino? 50-year-old Dan Bongino is an old former law enforcement officer. He served with the New York Police Department in the 1990s before joining the US Secret Service. Bongino has a long history in security, having been part of the presidential security details for former US presidents such as Barack Obama and George W. Bush. A staunch Trump supporter, he has promoted false claims regarding the 2020 election. Bongino transitioned to media over a decade ago. He began his commentary on Fox News and hosted Saturday night programs on the network from 2021 to 2023. Today, he hosts the Dan Bongino Show, which is one of Spotify's most popular podcasts, drawing more listeners than Fox News and CNN combined, according to a report by the BBC. He has also tried his hand at politics. Bongino contested a US Senate seat in Maryland in 2012 and ran for congressional seats in Maryland and Florida in 2014 and 2016, though he lost all three elections. Last autumn, Bongino urged President Trump to form a commission to reform the Secret Service. He criticized the agency as failed after 2 assassination attempts, remarking, "That guy should have been nowhere near you." Trump, however, praised the agent who spotted a rifle's barrel emerging from a bush during one such incident. On top of it all, Trump announced Bongino's appointment on Sunday night via his Truth Social platform, describing him as a man of incredible love and passion for our country and calling the decision great news for law enforcement and American justice. Before Kash Patel's appointment as FBI director, Bongino was a fervent supporter of Patel. On his podcast, he asserted that Patel was the only one capable of going in there and cleaning that mess up. Bongino stated, and I quote, "Kash knows where the bodies are buried and he's got shovels, man. He's ready to rock and roll, and that's why they are so terrified." Bongino has consistently called for exposing what he views as the FBI's political weaponization. He supports relocating agents from Washington, D.C. to refocus on crime in other regions. In January earlier this year, he rallied his millions of listeners, known as the Bongino Army, urging them to contact their senators in support of Patel's appointment. Bongino has also been vocally critical of former FBI leadership. He described Patel's predecessor, Christopher Wray, as incompetent, awful, and potentially corrupt. A couple of years ago, in 2023, he intensified his criticism, calling the FBI a clear and present danger to the United States. He also accused the agency of widespread corruption, alleging it conspired with foreign governments, spread disinformation, suppressed information about Hunter Biden, and interfered in US presidential elections. He further labeled former acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe as an absolute buffoon and called former FBI General Counsel Andrew Weissmann as an absolute toolbag. More recently, after Trump's border czar Tom Homan accused the FBI of leaking details about planned immigration raids, Bongino dismissed the alleged leakers as stupid, asserting that they would be caught and imprisoned. He frequently clashed with Trump's critics online, including an ongoing feud with horror author Stephen King. What are Bongino's plans for the FBI? Well, Bongino has clear plans for his new role. One of his main priorities is removing agents involved in investigations against Donald Trump. He said, and I quote, "If you swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States as an FBI agent and engaged in tyrannical investigation against Donald Trump with partisan intent and not the Constitution in mind, you do not deserve your job." This is what he said on his podcast earlier this month. He also argues that the FBI has over-focused on domestic intelligence gathering at the expense of addressing serious criminals and international threats. Bongino criticizes federal law enforcement for what he sees as wasted efforts investigating the 6th of January rioters and anti-abortion activists. Despite his ongoing distrust towards the FBI, Bongino's push for reforms is personal. Earlier, he recalled that an FBI representative visited his high school saying, "All I wanted to be was an FBI agent." That is it, man. I adored these guys, man. What happened to the agency? It is worth noting that the FBI currently employs 38,000 people and operates with an annual budget exceeding $11 billion. To sum it all up, Dan Bongino's appointment as a deputy director of the FBI marks a significant and controversial shift at the agency. With a background spanning law enforcement and far-right media, his outspoken criticism of past FBI leadership and plans for radical reforms promise to reshape the Bureau's focus. Stay tuned as this story develops under the leadership of President Trump and Kash Patel. Like, share, and subscribe to the official YouTube channel of the Indian Express.